Fanny Burney's secret work, Evelina, a Regency history audioblog, written and read by me, Andrew Knowles. In a fit of fear about what others might think of her writing, 15-year-old Fanny Burney burned the manuscript of the novel she had just written. But a writer's pen is soon picked up again, and she began to craft the sequel to her first tragic tale. A little over 10 years later, she was thrilled to see that novel being read by friends and family. But she remained fearful, and she arranged for the book to be published anonymously. Evelina, or The History of a Young Lady's Entrance into the World, appeared in print in January 1778. The title page gave no clue as to the author. Unlike other anonymous novels by women, it did not even say by a lady. Even the publisher, Mr. Lowndes, was unsure of the book's author. He thought it to be a gentleman from the other side of town. What Lowndes had spotted was the book's potential. It became a bestseller of its day, writing and publishing in secret. Fanny wrote Evelina in her late teens and early 20s. Her writing time was in the secret spaces of the day when her father, Charles Burney, would not notice. Charles Burney was a highly respected music teacher and historian. He worked long days giving lessons and researching for his grand project, a general history of music. Fanny was kept busy working as his assistant. Her job was to copy his manuscripts in preparation for publication. As she watched how her father turned his writing into printed pages, she must have learned the business of publishing. Fortunately for us, Fanny kept a detailed journal for much of her life. In it, she confides how difficult it was to find time to write. Evelina is a novel of more than 100,000 words. Imagine writing that up in draft, then editing, then writing it out neatly for the publisher. It's many hours of work. On top of that, she did not dare complete the final manuscript in her usual handwriting. She wanted to remain anonymous, but because of the work done for her father, London publishers were familiar with her writing style, so she had to adopt a different hand. In this extract from her journal, Fanny describes how difficult it was to find time to work on her project. The fear of discovery, or of suspicion in the house, made the copying extremely laborious for me, for in the daytime I could only take odd moments, so that I was obliged to sit up the greatest part of many nights in order to get it ready. A secret among siblings. Fanny's writing wasn't kept secret from everyone. She shared it with her closest sister, Susan. Her younger brother, Charles, was also in on it. He played a vital role in getting it into print. While she was shy about sharing her writings with her father, Fanny was also uncomfortable keeping the secret from him. She let him know that she was approaching publishers, and he approved. But, being so focused on his own work, he inquired no further. Even when he read Evelina, he had no idea that his daughter was the author. The next challenge was to find a publisher and to negotiate a deal without Fanny giving away her identity. Her younger brother, Charles, aged about 20, was selected as the courier. An unfinished version of the manuscript was conveyed to publishers. The first that Charles took it to refused to handle anonymous work. The sisters and brother then decided to send it to Thomas Lowndes. Again, Charles was the courier. Lowndes expressed interest, but would only take it as a finished work. Fanny set to work completing the manuscript. To add to the air of mystery around the author, Lowndes could only communicate with Fanny by sending messages addressed to a Mr. Grafton at the Orange Coffee House. Surprises for Fanny. In late January 1778, Fanny's stepmother read out an advertisement from the newspaper for a newly published book that had caught her eye. It was entitled Evelina. That was Fanny's first surprise. She didn't know the book had gone to press. Her second surprise was that the publisher agreed to pay her £20 for her manuscript. She records, "An offer which was accepted with alacrity and boundless surprise at its magnificence." Fanny's delight at being offered such a sum for her book probably did not last very long. For a young woman with no independent means, it may have sounded like a fortune, but her father, when he found out that she was the author, thought differently. In a letter from her sister to Fanny, he's reported as saying, It really appears to me that Lowndes has had a devilishly good bargain of it, for the book will sell. It has real merit. For her next book, Cecilia, published 4 years later, she was paid £250. The next one after that, Camilla, earned her a fee of £1,000. Fanny's final surprise was the exceeding odd sensation that came from knowing, as she records in her journal, that a work which was so lately lodged in all privacy in my bureau may now be seen by every butcher and baker, cobbler and tinker throughout the 3 kingdoms for the small tribute of 3d. The secret gets out. For some months, Fanny enjoyed seeing family and acquaintances read and enjoy Evelina, and then speculate on who the author might be. Charles Burney, and many others, held up Evelina as some of the finest literature of the day. 6 months after it was published, he discovered that the author was his daughter. We don't know how the secret was revealed, but he seemed keen to tell his friend Hester Thrale, at whose grand house he was a regular visitor. Charles was employed to teach music to the Thrales' eldest child, and was often invited to stay for dinner. Speculation as to the author was increasing. Sir Joshua Reynolds, the artist, stayed up all night to read the book and, according to Fanny's journal, vows he would give £50 to know the author. She was curious as to how the publisher, Thomas Lowndes, handled inquiries about the book's authorship. She went to see him, but nervous that she might give away her secret, she took her mother along to ask the question. Fanny records in her journal that her mother asked if he could tell her who wrote it. "No," he answered, "I don't know myself." "Foo, said she. "You mayn't choose to tell, but you must know." "I don't indeed, ma'am," answered he. "I have no honour in keeping the secret, for I have never been trusted. All I know of the matter is that it is a gentleman of the other side of the town." Once Hester Thrale knew Fanny to be the author. She too was invited to dine at their house in Streatham. Fanny became a regular visitor and met well-known figures of the day, such as Samuel Johnson, Sir Joshua Reynolds, and Elizabeth Montagu. By late 1778, Fanny's family, friends, and acquaintances knew she was the author of Evelina, but she wasn't prepared for it to become fully public knowledge. Hence her strong reaction when, that autumn, the secret was revealed in an essay by George Huddesford. She records her reaction. "I cannot tell you, and if I could, you would perhaps not believe me, how greatly I was shocked, mortified, grieved, and confounded at this intelligence. I had always dreaded as a real evil my name's getting into print, but to be lugged into a pamphlet!" It was only a passing mention in a satirical publication addressed to Sir Joshua Reynolds. The reveal only occurred in a footnote. The line read, "Or gain approbation from dear little Burney, asterisk," and the asterisk led to the footnote, "the authoress of Evelina." For a while Fanny was upset that it was a close friend who had given away the secret. The phrase "little Burney" was used at the Thrales, particularly by Samuel Johnson. However it happened, Fanny Burney's name was now associated with one of the most popular novels of the day. If you enjoyed this audioblog, you'll find that there are many more articles about people, places and life in late Georgian and Regency England on our website, regencyhistory.net. There's also a growing number of audioblogs here on YouTube. I hope you've enjoyed listening to this and you'll come back for more soon.